So you want to get your first pet lizard. To really understand how to do that right, we need to go back in time, way, way back. Before us, to a world of absolute giants.
Picture this. Earth isn't the friendly blue marble you know. It's a chaotic, volcanic, violent place. And on that stage, these impossibly huge, scaly creatures were the undisputed rulers, and they ran the show for an almost unimaginable amount of time.
And then bam! In what was basically a cosmic blink of an eye, a 6-mile-wide asteroid slammed into the planet, and their entire reign was just over. Wiped out in fire and ash. But hiding in the shadows of that apocalypse, some of their smaller, tougher cousins held on. They survived the unsurvivable.
Which, funnily enough, brings us to today. After millions of years of hardcore evolution, you, a highly intelligent primate who gets stressed out about emails, have decided you want to take one of these prehistoric survivors and make it your roommate. It's a weirdly beautiful goal if you think about it. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. You're not just getting a pet. You are taking on the job of being an entire ecosystem for a creature that is fundamentally, biologically alien to you. And this is where it gets tricky. See, unlike you and me, lizards are ectotherms. They can't make their own body heat. The best way to think about them is as these incredibly complex solar-powered robots. Their entire biology, everything from digesting food to fighting off sickness, it's all powered by the heat and light from the world around them. And since you've decided to put them in a glass box, you are now their world. You have to be their sun, creating the hot spots they need to bask. You have to provide synthetic sunlight, UVB radiation, that they need to even process vitamins. You are their weather, their day, their night, everything. It's a massive responsibility. And if you get it wrong, well, their little internal factories just shut down. Without the right light, their bones can literally turn to mush. We're talking life and death here. But okay, don't panic. Biology has actually given us a bit of a cheat code. Turns out, some species are just built different. They're biologically tough, they're hardy, and they can tolerate the kinds of small mistakes a beginner is definitely going to make. These are the ones that forgive you while you learn how to be their tiny god. So let's meet them. First up, we've got the Leopard Gecko. I want you to think of this little guy as a walking, breathing survival bunker. It's perfectly designed for a life of extremes, which makes it incredibly resilient when you bring it home. Now take a look at these stats. What really jumps out at me is the lifespan. 15 to 20 years, sometimes even longer. This isn't a temporary thing. It's a real long-term companion. And notice the enclosure size. You can start with a 20-gallon tank, which is super manageable. All signs are already pointing to this being a great, forgiving choice. So what makes them so forgiving? Well, for starters, see that chubby tail? That's not just for looks. It's like a built-in pantry, storing fat and nutrients. They also don't absolutely need expensive UVB lighting, and their heating is super simple. You can just use an affordable heat mat. On top of all that, they are famously calm and almost never bite, which makes them awesome to handle. Okay, next on our list, let's meet the Crested Gecko. If the Leopard Gecko is a survival bunker, this one is the low-maintenance acrobat that really doesn't ask for much at all. Okay, now look closely here. The size and lifespan? Pretty similar to the Leopard Gecko. But see the enclosure? It's vertical. These little guys are climbers. They live up in the trees. But the real game changer, the absolute best part, is the diet. This makes them incredibly easy. And this is their biggest selling point. For most homes, your regular room temperature is already perfect for them. You can completely skip the special heat lamps. And their food? It's a complete meal that comes as a powder. You just mix it with water. No need to keep live, chirping crickets in your house. The only thing they really demand is a quick spray of water every day to keep things humid. And finally, we have the undisputed champion of personality, the bearded dragon. If you want a reptile that's less like a pet and more like a scaly little dog, this is the one for you. But the numbers here tell it a very different story. Check out that size. They can get up to 2 feet long. And that enclosure? A 120-gallon tank for an adult is not a suggestion, it's a requirement. So this is a much bigger commitment, both in space and money. You gotta be ready for it. But see that handling line? That's where it all pays off. Excellent. So yeah, here's the deal. It's a trade-off. They absolutely need powerful heat lamps and high-output UVB lighting, and the tank is enormous. But in return, you get a pet that's awake during the day that actually seeks you out and will literally just chill on your shoulder. They're interactive in a way that very few other reptiles are. So there you have it, the survival bunker, the low-maintenance acrobat, and the golden retriever. 3 incredible survivors, but 3 totally different experiences. So how do you choose? Which tiny universe are you ready to run?
Let's just boil it down, because for most people, it really comes down to these 2 heavyweights. On one side, you've got the leopard gecko, the simple, low-cost, super forgiving setup. And on the other, the bearded dragon, a much bigger investment in gear and space, but with a massive payoff in personality and interaction.
You need to ask yourself this first. Is your main goal to have an interactive companion, a little buddy who will actually hang out with you? If the answer is a huge yes, then the extra work and cost for a bearded dragon is going to be 100% worth it for you. But hey, maybe your priority is just ease of care. Maybe you want to create a beautiful little world for a fascinating animal without the complexity of intense lighting and with a much lower startup cost. If that sounds like you, then the leopard gecko or the crested gecko is your answer. And that brings us right back to the beginning, back to that cosmic scale. Because choosing a lizard isn't just about picking out an animal. It's about deciding to create and sustain a perfect, tiny world. You know, in a cosmos that is almost entirely a cold, deadly vacuum, you are carving out this little bubble of perfection. A place with the exact right heat, the right humidity, the right light for life to just thrive. You're a creator. You're a caretaker. You are a son. There's something really profound about that, isn't there? A warm-blooded mammal whose time on this planet is just a blip, caring for a cold-blooded reptile whose family tree is ancient. 2 completely different forms of life, sharing a quiet moment of connection together on this spinning rock. And that is a choice worth making.